Block party turning up the volume. Miller on the slide. Game, set, match.
Spectacular crowd inside Mackey Arena. Purdue builds a huge lead.
It's all the hammer. Purdue is going to beat Tennessee here at the Broadway Block Party.
It is down. History for Dave Shondell.
Welcome back to the Big City Podcast, brought to you by Franciscan Health, the official medical provider of Purdue Athletics. I'm Cory Palm. He's head coach Dave Shondell. Coach, we've got a lot to cover today. We've got a couple great performances last week by your Boilermakers. Got a couple big matches coming up on the home boards this weekend, and we're going to talk about the newest additions to the family. Signing day is this week, and we've got four specifically to talk about that I know we're all very excited about. We're going to do that in the second half of the show. We'll start off talking about, let's start off talking about that very impressive showing Friday night against Penn State in Holloway Gym, where your Boilermakers come out and sweep the Nittany Lions off the court.
Well, we prepared all week, for Penn State because they're one of the blue bloods of the blue blood, quite frankly.
They are the standard.
Nebraska's closing fast,
yeah.
But nobody has won more national championships than what Penn State has, and including last year. So whenever you have the defending national champs come into town, you want to be prepared to play, and I thought that we did a pretty good job of putting a game plan together and getting after them. And I think it had been a long time since we had swept Penn State, so it was nice to get that done with this team, with this spirited team that plays so well together. It was really, really neat for them to go out and be able to beat Penn State in that fashion. But, Penn State's got maybe the best player in the country. She won't probably win a Player of the Year award because I don't think Penn State's going to get to the Final Four.
Yeah.
But Kennedy Martin, there was a sweepstakes for her last year when she left Florida and went on the portal, and everybody that had the money was going to try to get her, and Penn State just seemed to be the right fit at the time for Kennedy. But Kennedy is a first-class individual and a great, great player. And she's hard to stop, and I think she hit about 300, maybe a notch over 300 against us on that night. And quite frankly, we'll take that because I felt like we did a pretty good job against the rest of the Penn State Nittany Lions, and we did our best against Kennedy's, but she's 6'6" and reaches high and is a very good athlete. Her dad was an NFL player. Her dad's still involved with the NFL in a coaching capacity. But Kennedy's a great player, and it was a great win for us to continue our momentum. I think we've won 11 of our last 12 matches in the Big Ten, the one loss being that one to Nebraska here at home, and Nebraska isn't getting beat by anybody. They're not losing a set in the last, I think they've won 46 consecutive sets during their schedule. So they're the hot ticket. They're the heir apparent to the throne at this point in time, unless somebody can put together a great game plan and knock them off during the tournament.
Yeah, Kennedy Martin, 20 kills on the night, 298 hitting percentage.
Okay, so we kept her under
just a notch under 300, right. Even better defensively.
Feeling better, yeah.
Your Boilermakers came out sharp in the first couple sets. Limited attack errors, hitting right around 350 in each of the first two sets, and those were very close sets. Penn State had leads in both of those, but you never got rattled, it didn't seem like, and just stayed focused on the task at hand.
Well, this team doesn't get rattled a lot. Sometimes they don't play as well as they need to, but I never look at them and feel like, boy, this team's shook. They stay pretty calm, and they play well together, and I think they felt like they could beat Penn State. That they walked onto the floor feeling like we were the better team. We owed our fans a win. Our record on the road has been very impressive, but not as impressive at home. All three of our losses, if I've got this right, have come at home: Nebraska, Georgia Tech, and Illinois. Yeah. And quite frankly, two of those, you wonder, why would you lose to those two teams when you kind of rebuted the loss against Illinois when you went over to Champaign. Yeah. Georgia Tech, you won't get that opportunity this year to play them again. But we had not been great at home, and one of the things we talked about is, you want the block party to keep showing up. You want the local fans to continue to come out and watch you play. go beat a good team at home. And so we came out and did a nice job, I thought, against Penn State.
For sure. One sort of anxious moment for everybody in Holloway Friday night was when third set, Kenna Woolard seemed to roll her ankle, and there was a stoppage of play. She continued on, but you never know with things like that how it's going to shake out.
Yeah.
Great to see her back out there again on Saturday and performing well against the Hawkeyes.
Yeah, Kenna, when she was up blocking, came down and landed on a foot. And, in volleyball, you can put your foot, as long as your foot is on the center line, it's legal. There's no violation, okay? But there's some big feet out there.
Yeah, there are.
Okay, and you can land on that center line and still be on your opponent's turf, per se. But that happens all the time. It's an aggressive game, and you have great athletes that can take off from 8 feet off the net and land.
Got to land somewhere.
Yeah, near the baseline. So Kenna landed on a foot and twisted it pretty badly. I mean, I can show you some pictures, today of what she looked like yesterday, black and blue, which is all part of the healing process.
Sure,
you want to see that, but it wasn't an average ankle sprain. And but usually during that particular event, the adrenaline's flowing and you can continue to play, because I've had my share of ankle injuries. I wasn't quite the player Kenna Woolard was, playing at the highest level of the game, but I know what that's like. The next day, however, is a lot different, and we did not think that Kenna was going to be able to play. We thought there was probably about a 25% chance at best that she would be able to lace them up and get a good tape job and get out there and play against Iowa, who we felt like was a worthy opponent going in. We always feel like Iowa gives us all the trouble we ever could ask for. But it wasn't until warm-ups that we knew if Kenna was going to play. So two things. Kenna gave us an heroic effort. Got good numbers from her. She was probably jumping about half the jump that she normally has. So that's going to limit her offensive skill set. So she had to show some different shots. She had to mix her shots up a little bit, tool the block. Now sometimes she got blocked.
Yep.
Okay, because she's playing at a lower level than what she was because of the ankle sprain. But her defensive game, her passing game, all the things that she could do without putting too much stress on the ankle, she did a great job of. But I thought it was just a great show by her to tell her teammates, I'm here for you. I'm going to do everything I can despite having a severely sprained ankle. The downside of that is we had Natalie Moravec prepared to play.
Yeah.
Natalie has been just a great teammate on this squad. She played at Iowa 2 years ago. And so I'm sure that the fact that she was jacked up to play, thought she might have a chance to get that starting lineup for the first time in quite some time, and then we kind of pulled the plug out. And because we felt like, well, if Kenna can go, we're going to play Kenna, because we're not playing chopped liver.
Right,
Iowa's record may not look like they're a great team, but they are one. I think they're in the upper half of the Big Ten. From the teams we've played so far, I would put them in the upper half of the Big Ten. They've just lost a bunch of 5-set matches. As a matter of fact, I saw a post yesterday where Iowa had listed the set wins in the Big Ten, not match wins, but set wins of all the teams of the Big Ten.
Yeah.
They were 6th, even though that their record is down in the bottom third probably now, but their set record was in the top 6 in the upper third. But they lost all those 5-set matches.
Yep.
So we knew we were playing a good team, and we really had kind of asked Kenna to give us her best shot, and she did, and we found a way to win in 4. Coming from behind in the first 2, but kind of dominating the 4th set, fortunately, to get what I think was our 12th win in Big Ten play.
It was, 12-2 now overall. 21-3 on the season, 12-2 in Big Ten play. Kenna at half speed still leads the team in kills, and as you said, was really focusing on other parts. 10 digs on the night as well. A great all-around game from her. Somebody else that was great to see on Saturday night was Lindsay Miller. Yeah. Back out there in the middle and performing very well.
Yeah, and one thing on Kenna, she's had a monster season.
She is. One of the best in America.
We have a fairly balanced attack. We have a lot of people that are contributing to the success, kind of the surprising success of this team. But Kenna, in the early parts of this year, and continuing all the way through now, has been the one steady player that every night you can count on her for getting the big kills when you need to. She's our go-to player. I was listening to a podcast today where they were talking about the 14 players that were listed as semifinalists. Okay, was that this week or last week?
That was late last week.
Late last week.
Yep.
Okay, and she's one of the 14 players as a National Player of the Year candidate. And somebody was kind of questioning, her why she should be over there over a couple of other people that weren't listed. And that was obviously somebody who hasn't watched this team play.
Yeah.
Because she has been a 6-rotation player, does everything on the court for this team. And that person was actually recommending maybe a middle that should have been ahead of her because their hitting percentage was high. And again, and I'm not saying that player shouldn't have been on. I'm just saying that Kenna Wooler deserves to be on the list because she has been the person we've leaned on the most, and we're the number 6 RPI team in the country. So Kenna's done a great job, and I'm certainly going to support her when somebody takes a shot at her.
No doubt.
The second thing is Lindsey Miller had missed maybe 5-6 matches. It seems like it feels like more than that.
Feels like more, yeah.
But she had been out with an injury, and didn't know if we were going to get her back this season. And last week about this time, we started to feel like, okay, she's got a chance to play. And against Iowa, I think maybe somewhere in that third set, when we were down the third set, and we hadn't played great the first two, but really better than I thought when I watched it on tape.
Okay.
When you play a team like Iowa that everybody thinks you're supposed to beat, but you've been in this for 23 years, and you know what those matches with Iowa are like, and they're never easy. And this was another one of those that was going to be like sitting in the dentist chair.
Mm-hmm.
You got to sit there and just take it, and just deal with the pain. And but when we're down in the third, we inserted Lindsey into the lineup, and I almost started her, but I felt like no, our other two middles have been playing great.
Yep.
Even though Lindsey didn't do anything to deserve not starting, she just got hurt. So it was kind of a tough decision for me to make as who do we go with. But we got Lindsey in there about a third of the way through that third set, and she ended up, I think, leading the team in kill percentage on that particular match, and did a really good job, and looked like she hadn't skipped a beat.
Yep.
That was the most impressive thing. Looked like she was the same player that she was, maybe even better, because she was playing with some pain for a while. And then we finally pulled the plug on her, and now we got her back in there playing, and now she's without the pain and looked like a new player.
Huge. 6 kills on 11 swings, no errors, 5-45.
And I thought Taylor felt very comfortable getting her the ball. Our setter, Taylor Anderson, who I think is playing at a very high level. We'll talk about her maybe later on.
Yeah.
But did a great job of going right to her. Not waiting, not messing around.
Yep.
There's Lindsey Miller. Let's get her the ball. Let's establish our offense in the middle, and she did. And without Lindsey, it could have been a much longer night than it was.
Well, it was long enough. We were all. It was a long day for some of us, but we were anxious for that fourth set to wrap it up.
Yeah.
Great performance by the Boilermakers. Once again, 2-0 on the weekend, 21-3 overall, sitting alone in second place in the Big Ten.
Mm-hmm.
I know the Big Ten race is always something we start talking about this time of year, and Nebraska, of course, they've got to, like you said, they haven't dropped a set since mid-September.
And they may drop a set
before
it's over, but I don't know that they'll drop a match. I think they're starting to smell it right now, and they've got so much depth that if somebody's not playing well for them, their coach can go to the bench and find somebody that can step up and do a great job. They're just a really, really good volleyball team with great competitors, a lot of experience. But then we're 2 games back at 12-2, and then I think the Badgers are 1 game behind us.
They are, yep.
And then I think it goes to Indiana, who might be 2 back, tied with maybe USC. I mean, you've got the stuff in front of you.
I do, yeah. Wisconsin 3rd, Indiana tied with USC at 4th, 10-4. The Michigan State and Penn State and UCLA are 2 games behind.
How about Michigan State?
They're
Kristen Kelsey, first year, taking over that program, and I know their schedule's not easy. Nobody's is down the stretch in the Big Ten, but what a great job she's done of piecing that team together with some portal people, some foreign international athletes that have also come in, and I felt like they were pretty good when we had to beat them in 5.
That was
and we were down 7-3 at the Breslin Center in the 5th set and came back and won that. And I thought that they were putting some pretty good ammunition on the floor. So it's nice to see that they go on and haven't lost. I think
they haven't lost since then.
Washington and Oregon last weekend, which is a tough road. That was on the road.
It's a hard road trip.
That's a hard road trip. So good for them.
Penn State and UCLA tied at 8-6. Then Illinois, Michigan, and Minnesota are at 7-7. You look at that list. Every one of those should be an NCAA tournament team.
Yeah, I think right now we should get 10, and when you combine records with RPI, which you have to kind of look at the whole picture, I think we may be at 10.
Okay.
Illinois hopefully can get in, but they've got some work to do. They've got a tough slate still ahead of them, and I think that they're the lowest RPI team in the top 11, and they're only 2 games above 500 overall, I think, right now. And they're going to have to obviously be at least 500 to get in and have an RPI that's going to be in the low 40s.
And they're currently, like you said, 12-11 and 44 RPI. So that's.
I think they're certainly, when they talk about the bubble and you see it in the dictionary, there's a picture of Illinois there right now in that. But I think everybody else above them, providing they just hold their own down the stretch, has a good chance of getting in. So I think we can get 10 teams into the NCAA tournament, which would be great for the Big Ten, which is something I'm always a proponent of, trying to get as many Big Ten teams in. And that's conversations we've had in the Big Ten coaches meetings before is what's most important. And there are a lot of coaches in our league that say, well, let's just make sure our top teams are getting the best seed possible. And that is important. It's huge, all right? But I've always said it's valuable to get as many teams in as possible. Indiana's going to make the tournament for the first time since 2010.
That's awesome.
That's super.
Yep.
Okay? They've had a great year, and it's going to be good to see Indiana back in the NCAA tournament.
They're playing well enough they might get to host the first
couple
rounds.
If the season ended today as a 14 RPI or whatever they are, 13, 14?
14.
Now, when you look at their wins right now, they don't have a signature win with the exception of Miami, which was back in August. Okay, they've got a lot of good wins, but no top 25 wins, I don't think, with the exception of that. There might be another one on there. Maybe USC. They beat USC on the road.
Did, yeah.
So those are the 2 really big wins that they've got. But what a great season for Steve Aird.
Okay, enough talking about the Hoosiers. Things are going very well for your Boilermakers. 2 more challenging matches coming this weekend with Maryland and Oregon coming to town. Again, we've got the back-to-back Friday, Saturday. Talk a little bit. I know Maryland's sitting in last place in the Big Ten, but, that doesn't – you throw records out the window this time of year and focus on the opponent.
Yeah. But one thing I'll do at the Big Ten meeting this year is make a statement about the need to get away from back-to-back matches in the Big Ten. As tough as this league is, it's really, really hard. I mean, it used to be the way we were Friday, Saturday night to the book all the way through the Big Ten season. And so I know how hard that was.
Yeah.
It was a nightmare, okay? And so we hadn't had a back-to-back night until this past weekend. And it was so challenging, in my opinion. I mean, people maybe think I'm a complainer. But to get your team prepared to play a match, even though we were at home, just imagine if you're Iowa and you're on the road. You're going from Indiana here.
Yep.
I don't think there's a need to do that. You're not doing that in basketball.
Right.
You're not doing that in football. You're not doing that even in soccer.
Yep.
Okay? But we're trying to make volleyball players play back-to-back nights. And the NCAA even has gotten away from that in the regionals and obviously in the Final Four. So hopefully that we can find a way to alleviate that stress on the players of having to play back-to-back nights and have someone like Kennedy Martin. Now, she didn't have to play back-to-back this weekend because they played Friday and then they went over and played Sunday at Illinois.
Yeah.
And that extra 12, 15, 24 hours makes a big difference in the ability for players to perform at their best. But that wasn't the question.
That wasn't the question. I'm glad you went there, though, because I was wondering how your team came through that. Obviously, in a situation like last weekend, that's an even shorter turnaround for a nagging injury like Kenna had or recovery
or anybody.
after.
Anybody would have.
Anybody.
So I just think it needs to be looked at, and I think the Big Ten is at a place right now where volleyball has become the in my opinion, the women's sports that's getting the most attention in the Big Ten Conference. Why can't we not prioritize that and make it fair for everybody so that I know Iowa has had several back-to-back weekends. And some on the road, like this one. So, it shouldn't be where one team's having a bunch of them and then some teams aren't having any of them. And I just assume that we don't have any at all.
When you have those meetings and you stand up and your voice is heard, do you feel like does that affect change? Do you get a good conversation?
I think everybody would be on board for
Yeah.
that. It's just sometimes it's about resources and finances, and what is that fiscally sound for every school in the Big Ten? It's an extra night.
True.
When you're going to have, like, if we're going to have a break in between and play our match with Iowa on Sunday, then it's an extra night of wherever you're staying at, and sometimes that's a lot of money if it's a football weekend.
That's true.
So,
that's like we found last week in Michigan.
There's some other things that you have to look at, but I think that, again, why not at this point in time?
Yeah, player safety issue for sure. Hopefully y'all get that worked out. No, the question originally was about Maryland, the Terrapins, and
Okay.
Oregon coming in. What is challenging about those two teams?
Well, I think they both have some great athletes, and I'm just dumbfounded at the fact that Maryland hasn't won more than they have, because they have a lot of players back from last year's team, and they've added some very athletic pieces to that team. And so when you watch them play, they get your attention, and they got my attention. And so we're going to have to be really well prepared for them, and they're looking for something to hang their hat on as well, okay? So that's what concerns me most about Maryland, who was our first match. Oregon is a team that's got 2 or 3 of the best offensive players in the league, especially athletically. They've got Valette, who came from Michigan, transferred from Michigan, might have been an all Big Ten player at Michigan last year, and now she's an outside hitter playing for Oregon. And then they've got a kid named Clementine. Is that right? Clemente, not my old Clementine, but Clemente, who is a lefty that has lit people up this year. Then they got a left side hitter named Myers that they brought in from LMU, a good middle that's, I think, from Serbia. And they've got some really, really solid players, but they have not won a lot because all these are new players.
Yep.
They're the team that had one returning player back. After Matt Ulmer left, one player stayed, and that was the defensive specialist who got honored at senior night the other night, which is pretty neat to watch.
Yeah.
And the rest are all people that were either incoming freshmen and mostly off the portal. So to put that together in a short amount of time, the guy's done a great job, in my opinion.
Yeah, Trent Kirsten in his first year
Yeah.
there, obviously, it's a monumental task to have to rebuild your entire roster and then go compete in the toughest league in the country for sure. But Oregon's coming in at 14-10.
Yeah.
They're sitting probably on the inside tournament-wise at this point.
Well, except their RPI.
Okay.
This was funny. Their RPI didn't look too bad because, from what my sources tell me, is that there was a match that hadn't been added from pre-conference, and it was against a team who was not very good record-wise. And when they added that, they lost
They
about
dropped.
10 spots,
Oh, that's
10
brutal.
spots in the RPI. So it was probably a match they shouldn't have scheduled to begin with.
Right.
But I RPI-wise, do you have the number?
Yeah, dude, they're at 57 now.
So 57,
So-
they're looking for some wins. And that's another thing that makes them
Desperate
dangerous
team.
when they come in here, is that they know they pull a couple upsets off, then they're right back in the hunt for an NCAA tournament.
Yeah, 2 top 20 opponents this weekend with us and the Hoosiers. So
Yeah.
we'll be prepared. I have no doubt about that.
We'll be as ready as we can be.
Yep, absolutely. Okay, let's see. I'm going through my notes here. It was the first sweep of Penn State since 1987. You mentioned it'd been a long time.
That's what our communications gal
Yeah.
told us, and I did not know that. But people have to recognize that Penn State has been very hard to beat one set, not
Yeah.
to mention 3 in a row. I remember the first time that we beat Penn State in Holloway Gym.
I remember
what
that, too.
a thrill that was, and a very close match. And then the first time we went out there to beat them, those were really exciting moments for us because they were the juggernaut. And also, as we mentioned, won a championship just a year ago.
Yeah.
So good win for us.
Absolutely. Okay, we're going to leave the conversation there for the current season, and when we come back from the break, we'll talk about future Boilermakers. Stick with us.
The Dig City Podcast is brought to you by Franciscan Health, the exclusive healthcare provider for Purdue Athletics. Franciscan, inspiring health, working for a better tomorrow. Go to franciscanhealth.org for more information. Now, back to the show.
National Signing Day is this week, and things are different now. Things, of course, have evolved over the course of your career in college athletics. Maybe the sort of hoopla surrounding it has changed a little bit in the current era, but still a huge day for four future Boilermakers.
I think there's still a ton of excitement.
Plenty of hoopla. Okay, good.
About getting the 4 players that we're bringing in at Purdue, and on the heels of another great class that our fans haven't even seen yet. Sometime we'll talk about them too. Okay,
right.
We talked briefly about the 5 freshmen that all are redshirting as of right now, but we're bringing in 4 players next year. 3 of those players will be here this spring, and our fans will get a chance to see them playing during spring ball, and then the other will join us in June. So have a chance to get her feet wet here during the summertime, and be part of our program. But want me to go ahead and start off with?
Yeah, let's go ahead and start off wherever you'd like to start.
Okay. From in-state, we have 2 incredible human beings coming in to play at Purdue, and one is Mary Kate Schumann, who is from Belmont High School, played with a really good Pineapple Volleyball Club, and she is 5'9.5", very physical, athletic, tough competitor. That her high school teams have done very, very well, and her club teams have done extremely well. I know her sister goes to Purdue. I know she's got a heritage of family that have been Boilermakers. She has been an outside hitter, hitting on the left side, both in club and high school, and probably in the state of Indiana. I don't know if there's been anybody between club and high school that's received more sets during her tenure than anybody I've seen. I know that in the club season, they just ring her bell about every time, and she swings and swings and swings. But our fans will love this kid. She is a Purdue Boilermaker, and just tough as all get out. And but her role will be different here. She probably won't play in the front row at this point in time at 5'9.5". That's a tall order in the Big Ten. I think she can still swing out of the back row. That's one of the things I want both her and our next player I'm going to talk about, El Shara, to have the ability not to get locked into where I'm going to be a defensive player and a passer and a server and not still swing freely out of the back row if I'm in a position where I can do that. And so I'm hoping that she'll do that. But tremendous kid, can pass and defend, which is what her role will be when she comes here. But very likable, and I think she just fits the bill of being a Purdue player. But has had a great career at Belmont, and her club team has also been right in the mix of national championships. So it's been fun to watch her and get the call from her when she committed to come to Purdue. And then El Shara, even though she plays for a club out of Chicago on the southwest side, she is from Crown Point High School, which is one of the biggest schools in the state of Indiana. I believe they went to the Final Four this year in the IHSAA championship. They lost to Carroll, who went on to win the championship. But El Shara, a little taller than what Mary Kate is, but a very similar-like player. One of the best passers I think that we've ever recruited. When I say passer, I mean the ball's served to us. Who's going to pass that ball to put you in system? She's got great passing technique. She's got great feet. She's got a great feel for the game. She's one of the best outside hitters in the state of Indiana. She was I think maybe the Chicagoland Player of the Year a year ago. But she's got great skills, great temperament. Doesn't say a lot on the floor. Just very, very calm. She actually played libero for her club team last year, had been a left side, but then moved to the libero position, which I think helps her as she makes that transition into what she's going to do for us. But I always like our backcourt players to have experience as hitters.
Yeah.
Because they know what hitters are thinking when they're up there hitting. They have a better feel for what shots might come their way because they've been in that role, in that position before. But Elle's a little bit bigger than what Mary Kate, but both of them will give us a tandem that I think our fans are going to love for years to come. I mean, I think they both have the ability to play when they get here. Maybe not both of them, but both of them will have the ability. You know, we lose some players this year. I'm not exactly sure who. We never are now. Okay, but I think they're going to be ready to step in and help us. But those are players that will play in the backcourt. Then we have two other players. We have Lily Bosworth, who is 6'4", and we have Sydney Weiss, who is, I think, bigger than 6'4" now. So a couple of really tall players. Lily Bosworth, Mahomet, Illinois, which is near Champaign, and she is a 6'4" middle hitter. She played for a really, really good club, Illini Elite, that also sent us three pretty good players before this, if I got it right. I know they sent us Val Nickel, they sent us Grace Cleveland, and they sent us now Kenna Woolard. And now they're sending us another stud.
Pretty good,
okay?
Pretty good track record there.
So Lily is a free-spirited individual that is a lot of fun to watch play. Is a middle hitter, okay, which, you know, we're going to need a middle hitter. Obviously, Lindsay Miller is out of eligibility after this season, so she will graduate. Lily will step in and be able to help us in some capacity. She also, as you've watched her play high school and club, does a really good job. Rarely do you see your middles ever hit on the left or the right, but she has done that both in high school and club. So I think she has some versatility. She's a really tough competitor, has a lot of fun when she plays the game of volleyball, which will fit in very well with the current climate that we have right here at Purdue. And she was the last of the four recruits that we got. And it was really, really a satisfying feeling to get that call from her that she wanted to be a Boilermaker, because I think she's one of the three best players in the state of Illinois.
That's awesome.
Right now that are seniors. And then the last player we have coming in is Sydney Weiss. Sydney is from Memphis, Tennessee, plays at Houston High School. And Sydney is at least 6'4" and plays on the left and the right pin. So has that versatility to play either spot. Side note on Sydney is that her dad, Vance, is offensive line coach here at Purdue. And it just worked out that, I mean, Sydney made her decision to come to Purdue before Vance, who was at UNLV, made his decision to follow Barry Odom out to Boilermaker country. So it worked out great for their family. I think that right now Mom and Sydney are still living down in Memphis, but I think, I'm not trying to tell them what to do, but almost would make sense that eventually they make the move up here with Vance and become residents of West Lafayette, Indiana. But Sydney is a really good, she's playing 6 rotations, 6'4½", playing 6 rotations.
Crazy.
She's got good feel for passing. Defensively, she's better than you would think. I think that we've got work to do, obviously, still in those areas with her. But to have somebody that has got that kind of experience already through club and high school, where she can play both pins, can play 6 rotations if needed, has had very good coaching, both at the high school and club level in Memphis. Her club coach is a guy that was a head coach at Division I level at Memphis. He was an assistant coach for a while at Ohio State, and is a really, really good coach. So we're blessed that these players are all coming from very good coaching cultures and winning cultures from that standpoint. Those things are all really, really important. So we got 4 really good players. We got a 6'4½" pin player in Sydney Weiss, 6'4" middle in Lily Bosworth, and 2 really tough defensive-minded ball control players in Mary Kate Schumann and Elle Shara, right here from the state of Indiana. So it's a good group to go on top of the 5 that we have that are actually going to be freshmen as well.
Right.
So you're going to have like nine players in a freshman class that will probably dictate the future of Purdue volleyball.
For sure. I was going to ask, did that change at all? I know redshirting is always a conversation coming into a season. Who's going to, who should, who shouldn't, who can help you right away, who might be better off. You know, Matt Painter talks about this a lot. You're better off in year 5 than you are in year 1.
Well, clearly.
Naturally, but it's still not that simple. When you get the entire class to redshirt this year. You're already so far down the road recruiting this class. Did anything change, or was it too late?
No. We'll look at next year to see if any of these incoming kids will benefit from that. Obviously, if they're good enough to play for us, then we're not going to redshirt them. We need them to play. But that's something we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Right now, we want to celebrate the fact that they're coming to Purdue and that they're going to be great players for us. And my wife's calling me, but we'll get right back with her very, very soon after this Dig City episode.
Right. So an exciting group. Congratulations to the young ladies who are becoming Boilermakers.
This is a big time group.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just telling you, this is a big time group because they're tough competitors with great talent, and they're looking forward to being part of what's this new Purdue all about. Gonna
be so much fun to watch them develop in the coming years and carry on the success. Coach, we will let you get back to your wife. We'll let you get back to film study probably.
I got some film and got to get a little exercise in. I'm working on a bad hip right now, so I got to do a little rehab.
Yeah.
But we're going to be ready to go. But the other thing I wanted to mention, Holloway Gym. It was back to Holloway Gym this past weekend. And, I talked to our student group and told them what a great job they're doing. And I understood that, one weekend it was fall break and we didn't have a great crowd. And another match, there was a lot going on. But on a night in which our basketball team, which we all love, was playing next door, we had 2,500 people and probably 700 students in Holloway Gym rocking the place.
It was.
And so I was so proud of that. That was the Penn State night. Okay, we had to move that match to 5:30 to play. I think they played Oakland.
They did.
Because I watched the match on TV later that night from a local eatery. And it was a great day for Purdue. And it worked out beautifully because for a while I wasn't sure how well it was going to work out because we tried to move our match with Penn State to a different date, but it didn't work for them. And so we had to jam them in there together. It creates some parking issues for our volleyball people, unfortunately. But it all worked out fine, and we got 2 great wins. It was a great weekend, and our block party was unreal. This is a spirited block party group, but we just needed to get a big home win to kind of rejuvenate the spirit a little bit. And now with 4 more home matches that we have to win, then it's great to have that student section 125% on board. And let's not forget, we have an Indiana match in the offing, okay? Saturday, right after Thanksgiving, we're playing at 7 o'clock that night, and I think we got about 3,500 tickets still available.
Okay.
And we need to sell that baby out. We sold it out last year, and we played a great match against Indiana. We have to do it again. It's the day after we play football.
It is,
against Indiana, the old Oakland Bucket. So there's going to be a lot of Boilermakers here to hang around for the Thanksgiving weekend. We got to have you in Mackey Arena. We have to have that Mackey Arena crowd sold out, rocking, blowing the roof off, blowing that copper roof off of Mackey Arena.
It'll be your last chance to see the Boilermakers in the regular season in person, and to see them in Mackey. There's nothing like it. Gobble up those tickets. See what I did there, Turkey Day?
Yeah, I like it. I like that.
The jokes are getting bad. That means it's time to go. Coach, good luck this week.
Thank you, Cory. Appreciate it. Boiler up.
Boiler up.